Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Sensible Sociopath, episode 94.
Woohoo!
This is the show where the truth is spoken and the rules are broken.
Nice.
I believe you because it rhymes.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So we're coming up on episode 100. So I was like, we need to start trying out some new stuff and get our S together, as they say, get our ish.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we have a great episode today. Please chat us live, since we are live right now, unless you're listening in the future. And then congratulations for being a future person.
You think that's included in one of the 93 genders? Like, I identify as a
Is
futurist.
there 93 now?
Someone was like, it's 93 genders.
I thought
Somebody
there
told
would
me
be
the
more.
other day, and I was like, 93.
Mhm.
Last I heard, it was 82.
Okay, I think 82 was closer to what I heard.
Oh, I heard someone told me 93, and I was like,
John, you are more progressive than us.
by a nut hair.
Yeah.
Like, it's about it. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know who I am.
Oh, by the way, this is John.
What up?
Of the lots of things.
Lots
Massage
of
Mania.
things.
I put you on. Well, we'll get to that. And then we also have the Sensible Sociopath podcast's live-in producer and co-host,
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Flat Earth Roma.
Dude, like, let's unpack that. I need to know
Oh,
What
suddenly
has-
you're Ferdinand Magellan
what
or Galileo Galilei?
So here's the thing. Like, I do an improv show and produce an improv show and where we talk about conspiracy theories, and then we do long form improv with it. And we did a flat Earth show,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
it was awesome. It was a really good show.
And so is this a live show or this online?
This was a live show.
Okay.
That we had done, I believe, right before the pandemic hit.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Coincidence?
No, I don't know.
So we went to Wuhan, right?
Right.
They weren't getting anything we were doing.
There was nothing there. There was just a bunch of bats flying around. Be like, I'm sick. It's like, can I help you? No, I'll give you rabies. Okay.
What's with all these coughing
Handle it
bats?
yourself. Like, I'll leave it to the Chinese people to take care of these bats.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why we don't understand bats. I don't speak Chinese.
That could be true.
What if they find out, like, the bats have a Chinese brain? They think it's Chinese.
I think they're very tight culturally.
Right.
They live in caves.
Well, and that's the thing.
They don't watch the news.
The way we're flinging science around, anything's on the table at this point.
Yeah,
So I'm just like, oh, maybe bats understand Chinese.
that's true. But it is a very prominent. I mean, they say it's the language of the future. So maybe bats will really be involved in stock market and things like that.
Maybe. I told my kid, like, he wants to be an engineer. He's 8.
Mhm.
And I was like, you need to learn Chinese.
Or be Chinese. He could identify as Chinese.
Maybe. At that point, dude, maybe.
It's a gender.
Well, why not? No, where are we going to go with it? So the Flat
improv.
Earth.
Flat,
The
yeah.
improv Flat Earth. When I researched Flat Earth myself,
Mhm.
did you guys ever play Dungeons and Dragons as a kid?
No.
Okay.
I'm very aware of it.
So
yes.
you have, like, stats like strength and
Mhm.
stamina and
hit points, and
dexterity and stuff like that. Like, when I
Mhm.
researched it,
charisma.
I took a permanent -5
Charisma.
to my intelligence. Yeah, charisma.
Okay.
Definitely. You would be like charisma plus like 15,
I know.
strength plus 10.
Anybody could let me in there.
Yeah.
Even the good. What are the people? Their
Oh, their alignment.
alignment. Yes.
Yeah.
Alignment good.
Yep.
I'd be banging some clerics.
Yeah. It's like, he doesn't, I don't care. This isn't affecting my stats in a negative way, but
Exactly.
you're not going to be able to go back and wield a mace and a shield at this point. You're going to have to
That's
go to
true.
bladed weapons.
That's
My
true.
bladed weapon.
Pant drop.
When when I researched it, I was like, I lost -5 to my permanent intelligence. Like,
When you research Flat Earth,
yeah, I was just like, I just cannot. Maybe it's the public school upbringing that just doesn't allow me to go outside of the lines. I just could not
Yeah.
get on board. So I'm curious, Roma, like, what was there, like, one thing that, like, changed your mind that pushed you over into the yes?
well, we need to be fair because I'm not there 100%.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm there like 98%.
Okay.
I don't feel like I understand every point that I need to understand in order to be there 100%.
Gotcha.
But the information is strongly pointing in that direction. Now, I know that if you go on there and just Google search flat Earth and why is the Earth flat, there's a lot of disinformation out there, specifically the Flat Earth Society.
Sure.
Flat Earthers think it's actually a government op to try to, ridicule and make ridiculous the flat Earth theories. But
Sure.
And that's
I
what
mean-
Dave was saying was
right.
that they were associated. Yeah.
But I've been lurking in the YouTube arena of the actual, hardcore, diehard flat Earth peoples, and dude, it's blown my mind.
The people who get their channels banned, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fairly
Yep.
quickly.
Channels banned. Even us when we did our episode, they had the Wikipedia
Mhm.
definition showed up underneath of it saying that it was an archaic belief system.
During the premiere,
Interesting.
it had the wicked. I mean, of course, we uploaded it so then they could run it through the algorithms and all that. But it was just interesting.
That's
Mhm.
interesting. So basically, where you're at is you're on hormones, but you haven't had the surgery yet.
Yes.
Roma
Okay.
Roma
Correct.
got her top done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
She's still dangling down
Yeah,
below.
It's
you
like,
know?
oh, do
Yeah.
I don't know which way is north.
I mean, you can
I know
still go
exactly
back.
which way is north. So north is in the center of the globe, the flat Earth.
Can't make compass jokes
map.
around Rome anymore.
So north is at the North Pole, and the south is actually Antarctica is the wreath of ice,
the ice wall that they
right,
talk about,
which
yes.
keeps the water in. Now, some people think that there's actually more land and more water outside of that, but that's as far as we know for sure.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
It's very interesting. So I think probably my biggest draw to it is the conspiratorial nature of it,
Absolutely.
and especially after COVID, and I was going to say 9/11, but that I'm not really a truther in that arena because I really haven't.
It was an inside job.
I think anybody that does a good amount of research, but the government has always wanted to bring out conspiracy theories and then make you seem crazy. Ever since Oswald.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Basically.
say, ever since Kennedy, and in
Yeah.
fact, that's where conspiracy theory
That's right.
became a thing. Was people were saying that there was more than one shooter,
Mhm.
and
Whether it's true or not, but if you throw disinformation out there, and in the disinformation has been around for forever. So like you watch things like was it Game of Thrones with the bald eunuch?
I've never seen it.
I've never
Okay.
seen it.
They also have an ice wall.
They do, yeah. Which looks bad on a lot of flat earthers.
Yeah.
Because see, it's fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah. But I think it's all based in reality.
Sure.
At least in some. Okay, it's based physically in reality.
I mean, Antarctica does have an ice wall. It's a giant thing of ice. It's the highest point of the world.
and it could have an army of undead soldiers waiting right outside that ice wall, and perhaps
Exactly.
that's why Nancy Pelosi's keeping us away.
Mm-hmm.
Stupids.
Yeah.
She just can't tell you that. She's one of them.
Yeah, she's
Ice
The
Queen.
ice queen. There you go.
yeah. She would freeze like those creatures in Narnia and not even feel bad about it.
Yeah. That's why she has to have such an expensive freezer.
Yeah.
With ice cream.
'Cause she
Ooh,
sleeps
is it
in it.
ice cream or is it children?
She starts thawing out.
It's like, oh, this one's minced kindergarten. Delicious.
Those
Unbelievable.
embryonic cells. They look like
No.
little chocolate chips.
Dude.
Gross. That's nasty.
That's insane.
They're just baby scabs.
Oh.
My,
What?
my thing is I'm not judgmental and because again, after this last year,
Mhm.
anybody who can sit there and be like, no, I know what's true and false. Did you
No.
pay attention last year? Because clearly, very clearly,
Mhm.
I don't care what your political ideology is, what your religious beliefs are or lack thereof. What we are going through right now is not normal. We have a government here in the United States that has spent the last 70 or 80 years calling anybody who asks about UFOs, talks about them, crazy or conspiracy theorists.
Yep.
And now we're on the precipice of a report that's supposed to come out on June 1st of this year,
Well,
where they're going to reveal. And meanwhile, they're like, oh, here's these 3 videos that are completely authentic, and the Pentagon verifies that UFOs, we don't know what they are. This big report, not in this last stimulus package, but the one before, it was like, hey, you guys, all you 3-letter agencies, you need to disclose what you know by June 1st,
Well,
2021.
I want to call it right now, and I think that they're going to do a fake alien invasion in order to once again get fear and control. Because, and I honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the flat earthers. I mean, they're growing exponentially, and if the Earth is actually flat, and we find out, they're going to have another illusion to keep us into control.
Well,
Interesting.
well, and so the reasoning for keeping people in control is this very large, concept. So if kind of like North Korea controls, what you think, where
what haircuts you can have,
exactly, to where you can have
what
8
colors you can
haircuts.
wear.
Yep. That's exactly, the more they oppress you and the more they control you. So the more they keep you working 80 hours a week, the more they keep you, striving for that, Dodge Neon or whatever the
Right,
hell you
all the
want.
debt that you're in.
Yes. That you just keep trying to make it. And you keep
Slaves.
trying to, yeah, you're
Absolutely.
a slave. Yep.
Well, and then they enslave your mind too. So, I mean, going off of the flat earth thing, if the world is flat, and then we don't even know where we live. I mean, we have no autonomy. We don't know, where we live, what we're capable of, what this whole thing means. And so, you're even more of a slave.
So as being part of this huge, immense universe, so the flat Earth theory, which it makes sense to me. It's the heliocentric. So the Earth is the center of the universe, and therefore people are the most special.
That sounds like white privilege to me.
Yeah, exactly. White people are the most
geez.
special.
I knew this is where it was going.
Yeah.
I
I'm
quit
out of
this
here.
shit. I can't.
Yeah. But yeah, human beings are the center of the universe, and that is why it's so then we would have a closer connection with God and creation and all
Sure.
that.
Well, because as of right now,
and value ourselves more and each other.
Yes. If we had this current globe model, then we're just a speck of dust flying through this infinite space, and God's not real. I mean, the flat Earth or the globe Earth theory, what do they call it? The
Heliocentric
heliocentric theory. It disproves the Bible in chapter 1, because the Bible starts with Genesis, and in the beginning, God created light, and then he created the firmament, and then he created, to separate the waters from the waters. And so instantly the Bible doesn't mean a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You are balls deep in this.
Roma,
you have no idea.
I was going to say, be careful.
You have no idea. I have done nothing but research.
Yeah.
I have nothing but researched this from the moment I watched that podcast. Mm-hmm. If I'm not working, I'm researching flat Earth.
Roma's been to some dark places this week.
4chan.
On the internet, yeah.
Chili's. Those are dark places.
Chili's.
Dude, yeah. Can I just say, okay, so I went to Chili's yesterday.
All right.
Nice
segue.
I went to Chili's yesterday. Uh-huh. It was flat on the inside. Like there was.
See? I told you.
See?
Yep. I was like, this
These
isn't
ribs
spinning.
are flat.
Yeah. But speaking of like the illusion and the lying, right? So the CDC has said like, hey, at school, it's not 6 feet anymore. It's 3 feet.
Oh, it's 3 feet now.
It's 3 feet.
I didn't know that changed.
Yes.
That's dick slapping
and
range.
I'm just like, how can we sit here and continue to just take this shit? Like the government just keeps like these 3-letter agencies, CDC, WHO, CIA, like they just continue to you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a rule. And you're going to do it because you're stupid.
Seems pretty arbitrary.
Like, you're stupid. Like, it's like, so 6 feet this whole time, they've been pushing this 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. It can be 3 now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
if you wear a double mask.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, or 2 masks. I'm like, okay, so you want.
And you're vaccinated fully.
You want two whores.
And if the earth is round.
With giant vaginas for the F-18s to fly through. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh.
Yeah, I think he brought it back.
Yeah.
He brought it back. How can we, the reason I am not going to dismiss you, Roma, as crazy, A, because you're a cool person, you're intelligent, but B, like, at this point, dude, it's all on the table. The government's about to tell us some crazy shit. Even our politicians are like, Marco Rubio's like, get ready, bitches. It's going to be some pretty intense information that we can't explain. Former CIA director or Pentagon guy like I think John Ratcliffe was a guy. He's just like, yeah, there's going to be stuff we can't literally, it's going to be hard to explain to you.
Yeah, but that's the easiest stuff.
Right.
is the stuff they can't explain, because then they can just go, oh, it's just, who knows?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I want to wrap this around to a previous episode that we did. Remember when you brought on that video of the hologram of the dragon at the football game?
Oh, the Baltimore Ravens.
So, that's right, it was a raven.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually have videos from NASA where rockets are being shot into the sky, and then part of it glitches out and just disappears. And apparently, I haven't seen this obviously, but somebody was talking about how NASA actually has these hologram projectors on their property, and it's like, okay, well, what are they using that for if that's true? And so I'm sitting here thinking, well, next thing, they're going to do holograms of a space invasion.
There's that Reagan quote that I always think about. Like the best way to bring everybody together is the existential threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like imagine if they just put a bunch of that shit in the sky.
But here's the thing, too, is that, that could have worked for COVID, but look what it ended up doing. It just became the vaxxers versus the non-vaxxers, the maskers versus the non-maskers, the quarantiners versus the non-quarantiners.
Well, they tried, right? Remember, like the catchphrase, we're all in this together.
Mhm.
And everyone all over the world kept saying that phrase.
For the first 3 months.
Right. And then they realized, oh, these humans they're fucking crazy. They're not going to go, go along with this.
So one of the guys I like to follow, Michael Malice, he's a, he's a libertarian anarchist.
Oh, yes. I've heard of this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with everything he says.
No, I mean, of course, but what he said is some very, he actually wrote a book on North Korea and Kim Jong-il that was called Dear Reader.
Okay.
So like Dear Leader.
Mm-hmm.
But Dear Reader. Yeah.
Ah.
Very cool. I like it. And so, so he's an anarchist, knows a lot about politics and socio, whatever you want to call it. But he said a lot of very bad people have gotten a lot of information on how much people will tolerate. So what are people willing to put up with until they, snap? And really, we haven't seen a snap. We've
yet.
seen some pushback. We've seen some, grumbling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because in places like Texas, they're, clapping to the governor that suddenly everything's open now. And then you look at a place like Florida and you go, oh, they were open the whole time.
Right.
And they even have an older population. And yes, it's still warm, but I mean, even compared to Texas, they're
They're
similar
pretty comparable,
climates.
yeah.
So
humid and warm.
yeah, so you would expect the same death rates, and Florida definitely isn't the worst like everybody would have predicted.
They're like the middle of the pack the last
Yeah,
time.
but just think of the economic, and I heard a lot of people had fun down in spring break.
Yeah.
Actually, they had riots, and they
Oh, they did?
oh yes, some ne'er-do-wells came into Miami, and I guess they were just drinking and like
Chaos.
ding-dong ditching, or sorry, dine and ditch.
Oh, that's funny.
And like just huge street brawls. So they had to like implement a curfew and things. So I've been telling people all week, I'm like, I'm so tan because I was down in Miami
Yeah.
partying it up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Down there hanging out with Pitbull.
Exactly. Yeah. My Puerto Rican friends.
That's if you go,
PR.
John, you want to go to Florida? I'm like, yeah. Why? I want to meet Pitbull.
Can you grow a mustache?
Pitbull's pretty
No.
woke. Have you seen the videos of him talking about, I forget what he was talking about. It was, I think he was talking about communism. It might have been
communism,
COVID,
okay.
but I think communism was in there for sure because his
Two Cs.
family's from Cuba.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's not on board. I
Oh
would
no.
take it. Yeah.
No. I mean, like he's legit woke, not like fake,
That's when you said woke, I was
social
like,
media
Pitbull,
woke.
are you sure he's Cuban?
No.
Or,
not
yeah.
not social media woke, like
Okay.
like red pill woke.
And I think it really just takes you going to or meeting people that have experienced it or watching documentaries of what people have gone through. So remember that one Colima? I sent it to you. I don't know if you ended up watching it, but it was of the like worst Siberian concentration camp that was like still going on into the 70s or
I
something.
didn't watch it. No.
Yeah, and it the road to it they call they say that the road is paved in bones, and there are literally, they believe,
Yikes.
hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of bodies underneath the road to get to Colima,
Ugh.
That's crazy.
and people live there now. So they're like, yeah, we just find bones all over the place. And like they just showed like bones in the just, hey, there's a pile of bones.
Yikes.
Yeah. But it just
Crazy.
basically got to the point where they're like, oh yeah, we don't have enough room to bury people. It's too, the ground's too cold.
There's not enough room at the Motel 6. We're gonna have to bury him at
Mm.
Super 8 instead.
The Motel 6 feet under.
Yo, that's like a
See
Vincent.
that?
That's like a Vincent Price, like old Vincent Price, like welcome to the Motel 6,
Feet
feet
under.
under. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's this again to bring it back, like kind of what you said, Rome, with the. I think that's on the table. Like, and again, who are we to say? Because there's people like me, right? Like the UFO thing. Again, I've wanted to know since I was 10 years old in
Sure.
the dark, listening to Art Bell.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've been into it this entire time. Like, and there's gonna be people like me who are gonna want to be like, I knew it, right? But there is a small part of me in the back of my head to be like, but is it fake?
Exactly.
Like,
Sure.
and is it what they're wanting me to believe? Am I being hustled yet again?
Yes. Am I
I
being
mean-
double hustled?
Yeah.
I've watched enough episodes of X-Files to know that the government's behind all of it. So,
And that the truth is out there.
Yeah.
and I want to believe.
And that the Motel 6 is reasonable accommodations on
Yeah.
the road.
Well, and again, during the weekdays, it's $59.99.
That's right.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
That's a great price.
That's less than 6
That's less than $6
Yeah.
if you add a point.
because $59.99.
Yeah.
I went
point.
to a public university and I basically majored in make believe and pretend,
in motel.
and so that makes me an expert on life.
Yeah.
And also in debt for majoring and
Yes.
like. Yes, you're Shakespeare. Yes, and I'm like, I'm Shakespeare. Then like I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This
These
is
student
not really
loans are going to be
applicable.
very easy to pay back when I make
Ooh.
all this money.
All this
Pretend money.
Ooh. Yeah, but again, like after this last year, especially when they hit us with all that stuff. Remember when we all first everyone got locked down, and they just blitzkrieged us with like murder hornets, like and
Oh,
Kobe
yeah.
Bryant died a couple months earlier. Rest in peace.
Simpler times.
Like, and they just kept
Tiger
hitting us
King.
with all this Tiger King and just hit us with
Totally.
all this stuff.
Totally forgot.
And I just having the personality that I have, it's just like, what are they running interference for?
Right.
Like, what are they doing? Well, now we know, right? Like the Great Reset that came towards the end of last year, like it's in Time Magazine.
Mhm.
It's all over the place. They keep saying this stuff.
Mhm.
Like Klaus Schwab
Build
and all
back
these other
better.
people keep build back better. It's
Mhm.
the same. Their campaign slogan was the same as what the World Economic Forum or the UN or
World
something.
Economic Economic Forum.
Like Event 201, like World Economic Forum, sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
It's all
Like,
Illuminati shit.
and people that are still like, no, that's just not a thing. I'm like, dude, there's nothing we can do for you at this point because whoever those people are, whoever they are, they're winning big time right now. Like they got the UK saying like we could be locked down for a couple of years, we could wear masks for a couple of years, and it's just like,
But the
Meanwhile-
UK is a leftist shithole. The whole thing.
yeah. And again, it's
Um,
like in the United States, if you look at all this stuff going on overseas, I'm like, dude, this is what you want. Like this is what they're doing over here. You're complaining now, like about how bad it is. Like just look at what the UK is doing.
Mhm.
Like just look at what Spain's doing, what
Sure.
Italy's doing, what the EU is doing. Like it's gonna get worse. Like
Yeah.
these people that have signed on, that they're trying to sign on for all this stuff. Like I don't understand. And again, I'm not a smart man. I don't know jack shit. Like I just know what I know.
Mhm.
Like, and I read things. Like I'm no super genius here. But even I'm like, dude, they're literally. It's like, why are you covering me in butter? Are you gonna cook me? No, not gonna. Like
Mhm.
salt and pepper too. That's kind of itchy. Is that like an essential oil? What is that? Like, no. I want you to jump in this pan over here. You wouldn't turn on the burner, would you? No,
Mhm.
of course not. I'd never do that.
Mhm.
It's a whole lobster in a
What's
pot
that lid
thing.
for? Yeah.
Like, and it's
Well-
happening. They're doing it.
So the way I see, and I bring it back to communism, of course, because there's kind of two sides to the world. There's good and evil would definitely be communism. And anybody that doesn't see that is not looking into it.
Right.
Because the body count under communism is unbelievably ridiculous. The body count under things like capitalism and, freedom and all that stuff. Well, freedom does have the ability to go wrong, but, as in like,
Does it
they
though?
don't. Well, I was going to say, as in, like, they don't treat their workers good enough. And that's
Right.
like the whole
Okay.
argument with communism is, oh, the workers need, if you have a carrot making machine, and I grind carrots, then I deserve that money for that. It's like, no, it's my carrot machine. You can come work and get paid, but you don't own any of this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their big argument. So there's the lowest level of society which loves communism because they've got nothing to lose.
That's right. They don't have any skin in the game.
You can't bring them down anymore. So
Only way to go is up.
well, maybe,
Yes.
or you bring the middle class down. And so the middle class are the ones that fight against it because obviously, I mean, we're still the working people. We're still, I mean, I'm not, like, I am just fucking stacks of cash. But we are the ones who fight against it because we are educated, hardworking. We have things that we value, whether they be physical or just the values of ideological. Yes. And then there's the upper crust who are very educated, and they've been educated in Marxist organizations, and those Marxist organizations only talk about power struggle and all that stuff, and how the middle class is, the problem with this country, when actually they're the problem. But of course they would never admit that. So in trying to do something good for the world, they drown everybody else to try to bring, like you said, bring up the lower class. Well, that you're not doing anything because if you bring that bottom up, it's all the same. It's all relative. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
if you give them $15 an hour, then a Big Mac is $15.
Right. And
Great.
you can't raise everybody up. You can only bring everybody down.
Correct. And it's much easier.
Absolutely.
It's super easy to bring people down because then you just go, hey, close your business.
Yeah.
Hey, put on 2 masks.
Yep.
Your kids can't go to school. Now you have to stay there with them,
Right.
and you have to go crazy. And,
Yeah.
Now gasoline is $3 a gallon, so you can't go anywhere you want to. Oh, also, you can't fly. So here's something interesting. In the UK, if you go to certain countries, $10,000 fine. If you go, or if they find out you came from a country, $10,000 fine.
Because of COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to go to any country, $5,000 fine. Which it's not really a fine. That's more of a ticket,
tax.
isn't it?
That's a tax.
Yeah.
It's a premium. It's,
Yeah.
hey, I've got $5,000. Get out of my fucking way. I'm gonna go to
Exactly.
the Galapagos Islands or wherever the fuck people go, and then they come back. And so you're not allowed to have a CO2 footprint. You're not allowed to go because you don't have the extra $5,000.
Right.
What if I paid
That's
you,
how much your whole vacation costs.
Exactly.
What if I paid you right now, Steven? What if I paid you $5,000 to go pee?
To go pee?
Yeah, can I seriously do it? I don't have $5,000,
Yeah.
but can I go pee?
I mean,
Oh,
I'd do it.
yeah.
I'm still free.
Please do.
It's still free. Okay.
Yeah. Go for
Right.
it.
It's still.
Yeah. Don't take off your headphones though.
Freedom is still free.
Yeah. Freedom's just another word. Yeah. So I just think it's amazing that that's the point that it's gotten to is you just pay $5,000 and then you get to go on vacation
Absolutely.
and no one else does.
Well, and it's just like how the elites and the rich can pay carbon taxes and
Yeah.
fly their private jets.
Yeah.
And I mean, their friends are just getting these carbon taxes. That doesn't actually, negate anything.
And
We
if
all
you're a
know that.
multimillionaire, you have a conference. So you invite your other friends
Your
to
other
go
multimillionaire friends.
to go to the Bahamas or to go to Epstein Island or whatever.
Hmm.
That would have really bummed him out, huh? He had to start paying carbon taxes to fly the Clintons around
Yeah.
and molest people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's the whole thing is that, when you start implementing things like communism, it's going to hurt the middleman. So the poor will remain poor and the middle class are going to be pushed down into the poverty line. And then the elites are going to continue to be the elites.
Because there is always going to be someone better than everyone else.
Absolutely.
And
Well, and then plus you become this slave labor working class, and all that money, all those that tax money that they're taking to redistribute goes to the elite.
because they get to invest it, and that's the other thing. Is so It's like Pelosi when she bought all that Tesla stock right before like 2 days before they announced that the federal government was going to go with all electric vehicles.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah.
convenient, Nancy, that
Yeah.
your millionaire husband happened to invest 2 days before that in Tesla, heavily in Tesla.
Yeah. Very convenient.
Weird. But
Can't invest in GameStop though.
yeah, oh no, because if you were to make money,
Right.
no,
Yeah. You
we'll figure out a way to stop that from happening.
can't mess with the markets for the peons.
We'll let you make 5%, maybe 10%, but that's it. Like we through your whole life. All we do is screw everybody over exponentially.
Yep.
Which is funny because now we're talking about the same thing the communists are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about, the inequality, the
Mm-hmm.
inequity, but we're talking about inequity of opportunity, not
Mm-hmm.
outcome.
Correct.
So we're talking about the inequity of we don't have the same access to benefits,
Sure.
the potential for benefits if we do the right things in our life, if
Right.
we invest our money, if we do, now we have things like Bitcoin
Mhm.
and other, kind of smaller ways you can do that. But yeah, if it comes to land and, traveling and all that stuff, we don't have any,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have jets. We don't have, you know, huge swaths of land.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. One thing I can't help but think of when I think of all the stuff that's going on right now is in lieu of like I was talking about the middle class, low class, like race, these things, the equal outcome versus equal opportunity.
Mm.
When I think about these things, like if you look at like small business and what's happened to small business, not just here in the United States but all over the world, like
Yeah.
people that were selling the same products that the big fish, Amazon, Walmart, they were told they weren't essential, and we've lost millions of small businesses, and that number of small business, the body count will continue to pile up.
Yeah.
Of these people that just can't hang anymore. And like, I had a friend of mine tell me that they don't care how big the government gets because the government is there to help people. And I just, it took everything I had to just not just completely rage out. And I said, look, I understand why you feel that way, but the key word in your sentence is feel. Like
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying isn't practical. Human beings are flawed. We continue to centralize all that power. Like it's not going to end up well.
Why would the government give a shit about any of us?
They don't care. That's the thing. I keep trying to tell people this. All of our politicians are basically organized corporate gangsters and thugs that are paid and bought for by the same corporations. It's all theater. Like it's just professional wrestling. Like, and it's exactly how the media presents it. Like these people don't care about you.
It's bukkake theater.
Yeah, it's just they literally just like blow their load all over our face every day, and we just fucking take it.
Well, I
Kabuki.
mean, you got to think about it this way. I mean, a lot of people, I think they think, well, if I was, rich and a politician, I would still care about the little guy. But
No.
but think about it. Think about every time that you go into a situation, whether, you're a professional at something, your career, you've gone to school for X amount of time, you've put your dues in, and all of a sudden you become better than this other person. So, say you play tennis for a living and you're really good at it. Well, all the other tennis players are shit compared to you, and you're going to have that attitude about it. So you get these people that get into office and they're all like, well, I've worked my way up to the top. I deserve this. And all these people are lazy slackers and they just go to their 9-to-5 job.
Well, and maybe it's not that they would feel that way directly, but you wouldn't be at the playground down the street playing tennis if you were Roger Federer.
Right.
You're going to the best club in the place. You're surrounding yourself with all of those people that are like you.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's the ego.
Yes.
It's the ego.
And stroke your ego and stuff. Because you could kick the shit out of one of them and go, I'm the best.
Yeah.
But you kick the shit out of Gary.
Right.
The guy with the knee brace on.
Right. And Gary
he doesn't wear underwear. And you can see that.
You whooped him in tennis, but he gonna whoop your ass in pickleball, bitch.
He stops and it keeps going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gary's a lucky
keeps
man.
Going. Yeah. That's great.
He's got some blow hangers.
Yeah. I just in regards to that, like the organized corporate gangsters, and because you're absolutely right, Roma, these politicians they don't care because they've leveled up. If you've leveled up,
Exactly.
what fun is it to kill the goblins? To make another nerd reference, like killing goblins when you can kill dragons.
Right.
Well, and if you've ever played a game like The Sims, so you were talking
Mhm.
kind of about Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, but if you play it on a larger scale, you go, okay, I am the greatest leader that ever lived. I'm going to give everyone health care. And so click, 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 you give everyone health care. And then suddenly it's like, oh, there's not enough medicine for people. Oh, there's not enough, there's not enough tax money now for roads. Oh, the electrical system went down. Oh, and suddenly you have a rat infestation and,
Right.
and that's just one thing that was done that the repercussions of it were not fully
Understood or looked at or
exactly, because you can't, but you can also look back in history and things like communism and all that stuff, where most of the people who we would call communists because of our standpoint, you would look at them and you would say, the things you are doing is going to drive us to the point of concentration camps and genocide. And of course, you're crazy. You're crazy. Well, they, and they probably read Karl Marx and they just don't know that they've been fed it their entire life and that this is not the only way to think and that people who think differently are not bad people, racist, bigots, blasphemous, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, definitely.
Because that's what they think. They think if I ever almost put on, I saw somebody in a Trump hat and I didn't spit on him. Okay. Good.
Mhm.
Did you ask them why they voted for Trump and not the
Not
great
as-
pres-
not
our,
as-
our dear leader?
Right. Not assume that they were just a racist.
Yeah, exactly. Did you assume maybe their heart wasn't full of hate?
Right.
Like some people's?
That the level of programming
Mhm.
that's happened to us is just unprecedented.
Mhm.
It's the invention of TV. If you go all the way back, the invention of TV, combine it with the
300
internet,
years, something like that.
combine it like with 300 years ago when they had tube TVs. You guys remember?
Mhm.
I remember having to get up across the room, go
Mhm.
click, 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 static, 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 jackpot. Right, and then like I miss the going off the air, like when they play like the anthem,
The
or like when
anthem.
they wake up and stuff like that. That was really cool. as
The
a
Black
kid.
National Anthem.
Right?
We grew up in New Jersey.
Dude, I just, what I fear, I fear that my kids' generation, because they're Gen Alpha, that they're going to be the most racist sons of bitches on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Because all they're going to grow up is just getting just
Oh, yeah.
washed in all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's just
Well,
like,
at least they identified as Chinese.
yeah,
So that's good.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I've had an egg roll before.
Yeah.
I know what it's like. I had that egg roll at the Old Country Buffet.
Yeah.
It was right next to the spaghetti. I'm so diverse. I don't need to travel the world. I just go there.
That's right.
I go there at 7. I go
Speaking
at 7
Italian.
Yeah.
Speaking Chinese.
A little bit of KFC in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they're from.
They ran out of the hot mustard, so I had to use glutens.
Yeah.
Dip your
I
egg
trust
roll
that
in it.
sweet and sour sauce with my life.
Yeah.
My son, I had to tell him the other day, and I couldn't believe I had to tell him this, but he's in public school,
Mhm.
and I said, if anyone ever calls you a racist,
Mhm.
I
Or
wanna-
or a biological male. Go
right?
ahead.
No, it's like you can crush any women's cross country record you want.
That's right.
You-
Exactly. We're gonna do squats and take hormones.
Yeah, you just run.
Yeah.
Move those little baby quads and hams about.
Yeah, those
Hey,
little girl legs.
You're gonna be a champion, son.
Yeah.
I mean, daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
They.
Here's your jogging thong.
There you go. What's this? You'll see.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
You'll need this.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
Why are you sharpening that razor? No reason. There's just no reason at all. Dude, that when all that stuff started happening a couple years ago,
Mhm.
my cisgender straight white male brain who loves sports was just like, how is that going to even the odds though? How are they going to bet on that in Vegas? Like if last year they were Sam and this year they're Samantha, and they went from a junior in high school to a senior in high school, like, are they going to get a handicap?
Mhm.
Like, how are they going to? Maybe you could make it equitable. Maybe like we'll
It's true.
figure out what the handicap is in each sport. Based
Betting
on,
solves everything. So
Yeah,
I think they'll
if we can
really
bet
figure
on
it out.
I can get behind this.
Yeah.
That being said, if they, cause see how progressive I'm being, if they ever have a league of their own,
There's no crying in baseball.
there's no crying in
I was-
biological, non-biological sports ball.
I was called Tom Hanks last week. So I'm glad to impersonate him in his trashiest character.
I just, this is terrible, but I really could see myself. So let's just say that let's basketball, for example, okay?
Mhm.
And that trans women become part of professional basketball, WNBA.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I can tell you based on what's happened in the regular NBA, and that's not a microaggression, in the regular NBA, what will happen?
Mhm.
What will happen in the WNBA is exactly what happens in the NBA. They will have super teams.
Okay.
And this, in my mind, sets the table for the most entertaining sports events ever. Like
Yeah.
if you have a whole team of trans women
Mm-hmm.
versus
That's true.
versus just like a team of
We need to buy a team.
I'll-
That's how we get to the
I'll go.
level.
Yeah, we need to
We're
invest.
communists.
A sensible sociopath needs to invest
That's right.
in a starter.
Speaking of which, Roma, would you please bring up our thank you for the segue.
No problem.
But that's a brilliant point. So we would need something like jerseys, right?
Yeah, something.
Maybe some sort of swag.
like a tube, like a really tight fitting,
Yeah.
like dry wick.
Oh, what's this, Roma? Is this our merchandise store?
Merchandise. Socks. I like that.
Look at that. Send socks.
Is that underwear or a diaper?
Yes.
I
No,
think it's
that's
a face mask.
That's a face
Okay.
mask. We've got mugs and growlers and the premium hooded sweatshirts,
Those
and
are
it's supposed to be all
great.
super really good quality.
I like the. Ooh, I want the leggings.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Those are your
Just
TikTok
walking
pants.
around. I'm like, yeah, let's do a dance. Let's
Do you want to show them our
dance.
website too, Roma?
Sure.
Yeah, show 'em
So
the
we've-
website.
So we've got our own website, and it's got really cool stuff on it.
HTTPS.
It'll be changing kind of as we go, but yeah, if you just want to kind of scroll through it.
I think it's frozen.
Oh,
All
there
right.
it
goes.
goes.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So we have our little bit of eye candy there. You can donate to the show. We've got a listening button. We've got the co-hosts listed on the right side there, so you
Dope.
can eye watch or ear watch. And then if you want to go to videos and check that out,
Oh, sweet, dude.
so that's pretty cool. It's got
I love it.
our videos on there, and you can just see them all. You know, you can get to all this stuff. We have our podcasts.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Good job, y'all. I like it.
So
Like it a
lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. And then the last button on, or not the last button, but the next one would be merch. And so that'll take you back to that website. That's it. So
Yay.
please check
They're
us
a
out.
whole team of trans women.
Yeah.
I could
The
see.
Sensible Sociopath Podcast.com.
Gotcha.
The full show name.com.
Gotcha. I want to talk about transports because
Okay.
I feel like,
Oh, we do have tank tops, is what I meant.
okay,
Roma, scroll up to that green one.
Hold
are
on
they
one-
gender
Oh, you
gender
don't have
neutral
to-
tank
yeah,
tops
sorry.
or like
Yeah.
the I go to
There
the
you
gym?
go.
there.
There's our WNBA
Oh, dude,
uniform.
if I go to the gym in that, you're gonna see some side boob in that. Woo! I'm gonna bend over, do an inverted row for you.
I hope
like
it's
it.
cold in there.
Down and up. Pecs are so strong.
Yeah, my nips are so
Do you
hard.
like it?
I've worn through 3 of these shirts. They're excellent quality.
Yeah. Welcome to the Muscle Farm. It's a supplement, and it's also me.
Sarah says she likes the joggers.
Oh yeah, yep. And there are lots of colors. So the colors that you see there are not the colors.
you're not
the
locked
mugs.
into baby
No.
blue.
We just kind of put a smattering of colors on.
Smattering.
there.
Cool. That's
Um,
inclusive. It's color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Our BLM shirts will be coming out.
Mhm.
Black only.
Yeah. Don't you dare. Don't you
Yeah, Rob,
dare.
we need a
Steven.
sensible sociopath fist. Maybe like lube and a fist, something like that.
Like
Accurate.
this.
Fist, yeah, exactly, with like a ring around it.
Yeah. I like it.
Sensible socio. Yeah, it's a good to remember that one.
You guys are big thinkers.
That's right. Yep, got a lot of stuff going on up here.
I was telling you, I think I told you before the show, like, I just don't have with everything that's going on, like, I don't have the hard drive space
Mhm.
anymore to keep track of it. It's not even like a
Mhm.
want. It's just like, I don't have the processing power, probably because I had the Rona and it affected my cognitive abilities.
Mhm.
And
I can tell you're dumber. Yes.
Yeah, just visibly. You are visibly
Yeah.
dumber, John.
Wow, you
I
look
agree.
stupid.
I agree. Like, I agree for sure. I'm in better shape though, so I guess like what they say of us is like all broad and no brains. They say.
Mhm.
Okay.
I didn't know you could turn that around.
You can turn
A
around
few
anything
decades into
now.
life, yeah.
You
I
can turn around-
identify as a jock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the strap or just the jock itself?
I'm the assless part.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's little straps under the cheeks.
That's
That's
right.
the part of I'd like to
Just
be.
keep them supported.
Hold them up. I'm
That's
a
all
helper.
exactly.
I'm a helper. Keep
Yeah.
it all in place.
Yeah.
We gotta
So,
kick somebody in the groin right now.
did you want to finish your trans thought? Your trans,
I just feel
your
like
trans bullying,
you want to bring
gambling, trans.
you want to
gambling?
bring
I
the
don't know.
world together.
Yes.
Sure.
This sports product
Okay.
would be unbelievable. Like, and I'm not even being I'm being a little facetious, but like I would be wildly entertained
Mhm.
by that because it's just something we haven't seen before. And like honestly, like trans
Wait,
people,
what are we talking about?
like talking about transports, like just
It's a
see
thing. It exists,
a
right?
whole. Well, I mean,
He means like
But
a
you mean
whole
making a
team.
like
super
a whole
team.
team, like
Making a super team and then going against
going against
biologically
biological
female women. Well, you can't even say biologically female. You have to say
You can't say that.
childbearing humans. I think is what
That's
The new term
is
is.
the only term you can use because
gendered language or something.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Here's the problem. Like people that are progressive out there, like I say this from a place of I want to keep up, but I can't.
Mhm.
You keep changing the rules.
Yeah,
and
don't blame us.
And adding things, and I can't possibly keep track of all these things.
Yeah, we're
Like,
trying the best we can.
We're trying. I seriously have no problem saying they. They're not trying. I'm trying a little bit. I can say they and them.
Mhm.
Sure, no
Mhm.
problem. I will absolutely respect your identity,
Mhm.
who you identify. No problem.
Mhm.
Like big libertarian. I'm like, you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. I'm gonna respect your lane. You're gonna respect mine.
You can get 8 different haircuts.
Wow, I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. You can do whatever you want. Like, just don't hurt anybody. That's all. That's all I have. And like, I will love you and respect you for who you are. But when you keep adding rules
Mhm.
and telling me that there's like 90 some genders.
Well,
Yeah,
not only
well,
do they add rules, but then they tell you you're a bigot if you don't know the rules.
Yeah, if I don't know the rules and you never told me the rules and I ever
Yeah.
ran into the rules in my part of the neck of the woods where I live, like how am I supposed to? I can't. And of course, once you mess up, you can't unmess up, or you can't like find any do any act of contrition that will get you back in the circle. Like
Oh no, there is none. So
there-
you don't.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just like you're setting up rules for just like this impossible game
Mhm.
that like the majority of us like would love
Don't
to
care.
play, but you don't tell us the rules. Like you don't.
And we don't care. That's
Well-
the thing is we really don't care. We don't want you changing things to fit your utopian idea of what equity and all that stuff because it's all the same animal.
Right.
It's all the same animal. And really it's just about changing the way you speak, which changes the way you think. And when they can start to control that, when they can start to compel your speech and say, no, you have to say they or them or they, them. You can't say him, her. Okay, well, then how am I supposed to think? I'm supposed to think in they, them, and then, wait, is it illegal for me to do that because you'll give me a fine or then you'll send me to jail? And then, oh, it's so much easier. That's one of the problems with COVID is that you're losing ground. Everything that is given up is rarely given back,
Mhm.
Yeah, they
Hey,
never
we
give
got
power.
3 feet back, though. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right. Roma's the ever-present optimist.
It's a yard.
Yeah.
A yard means a lot in the game of football.
Well, and it's further because it's flat, 3 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's true.
No,
you're not
It's
losing
closer.
that.
Maybe I'll come over
Yeah.
on that team just because I want to get the extra couple inches.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
We could
do
all use
anything.
them. Wink.
You? Yeah.
That's a cock joke.
It is a dick joke.
Yeah. So what did you think about? Did you see Biden's?
Holy cow, dude.
Pretty good, right? I mean, that guy
I didn't watch it. I was researching flat Earth.
nailed it.
I just feel bad.
Did you
It's
see?
an old man.
Did you see that they gave him that paper with the pictures on it? They gave him. I think he was doing a press conference, and it had
Yeah.
everybody's name with a
Yeah.
picture next to it.
It was his first one that he just did yesterday.
Okay.
It was the first one he
Yeah.
ever did. Yeah, I watched it
This man, he's falling up the stairs,
Mhm.
climbing to the plane. People, John, he just tripped, and it was windy that day. I'm like, if you watch him fall, look, and my stepmom, God rest her soul, what I saw when I saw that old man fall up the stairs, trying to get into the airplanes, I saw my stepmom.
Yeah.
And that's what she was like before she passed. She had a stroke, and she just over 2 years steadily declined.
Mhm.
And to trip the way he tripped, like if you watch the video, he
Mhm.
trips
3
again,
times.
innocent mistake. The second trip is because you can see, and I know this because of what I do for a living, like his core muscles tried to fire and stabilize him. He didn't catch himself the second time, and the third time he went down. Like, and that's what happens when you're old.
Yeah.
Like, and then this press conference that they finally held last night, I mean, it was embarrassing.
Mhm.
Like, and the media is telling us, oh, he did such a good job, and this is so
Mhm.
great, and isn't he so smart? And like,
Some
you
of those
watch it,
questions were ridiculous.
some of the questions were, and his responses, there's a couple times where like you see mentally the whole train just like falls off the rails, and he's just like, oh, hey, hey.
I got to go back and watch it.
Anyways, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing, and like I honestly felt bad
Mhm.
because it's just like, is there nobody that's like seeing him that's his friend in Congress or his family or his friends that's just like, dude, you can't do this.
Oh no, everybody knows
that's
that.
why he
His
hasn't
wife's a
been doing
goddamn
it.
doctor
Yeah, duh.
of education.
Yeah, and it's just like no one's
Dr. Jill.
spotting. It's like watching
Yeah.
someone and they're just letting him
Mhm.
fall and
Be the most embarrassing president.
we're
we've
just
ever
like,
had.
yeah, it's just he's surrounded by terrible CNAs.
Yeah.
They're just, I'm not changing the bedpan.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't change the bed, he can push
Yeah,
the
but-
button and then we can bring him treats.
It's not CIA, it's CNA.
Well, but
Certified
here's the
nurse
thing,
assistant.
though. If
They
they
white passes.
let him fail, then they have all the more reason to put Kamal in there
Yeah.
because they're going to say, "Oh, look, he's incapable."
It's the perfect situation for them because they have a fall guy.
Well, and what rational
And-
person doesn't think that that's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, I think we
Oh,
all
no,
know
everyone
the
does.
plan.
Everyone knows.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows what
Yeah.
their
They
plan
might as well
is.
just do it.
Quit fucking around and just put her in there.
Well, and the interesting thing with the things like the border, so the border's just a nightmare. And he's saying who was it? It was one of the, it must have been from CNN or MSNBC because of the nature of the question. But it was like, Mr. President, you are known as such a good person. And ever since you blah, 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 you have told people not to come into this country illegally. But they come into this country because you are such a good person.
Is that?
What do you think about that? And
oh
he's
my
like,
God.
I'm glad they're coming because I'm a good person. It's like, really? That's the question?
Yeah.
And, it's like, would you have said the same thing about Trump? Like when
absolutely
they
not.
don't come to the country because they know that they will meet law and order,
Right.
and you don't just get to walk into a country and receive benefits?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And bring COVID.
There's
That's
that.
the thing. How bad is COVID really?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, here's the thing. I
You
have a
would
couple
know.
clients.
You're retarded from it.
Yeah, I'm totally retarded from it. I didn't even feel it. That's how. But no, like I know people that work like in the medical field that like are working in ICU, and I mean to them,
Intensive care unit.
yeah,
Like throwing around these acronyms.
yeah, these 3 letters. Oh man,
We have an international audience.
and to them, like
Slovakia.
obviously their perspective and view of COVID is different because they're dealing with nothing but the COVID people.
Yeah.
So they're seeing the worst end of it, and
People who
my
are
heart,
already in bad shape,
yes,
probably.
and my heart goes out to anybody that's a frontline worker that's dealing with it. Like that C doesn't care. Johnny cares. I care so much. Oh, my heart hurts. It's a heavy burden I carry. Anyway, like my heart goes out to them. But like if you look at like how our leaders have responded through this entire thing, drinking like the Gavin Newsoms and like these mayors like saying like, don't forget to do what we're supposed to do, and then they do the exact opposite. Like how
they're
much,
better than us.
the fact that they're releasing some of these people, like into
They and their friends are better than we are.
They're releasing some of these people. These poor people are coming up here, like just into our country with COVID, and it's just like, if you're doing that,
Into
how
the poor neighborhoods. They're by the border. Why would you? You
Who
wouldn't
cares?
do that in
And again,
Austin.
if that's the case, how
Stupid. Joe
according
Rogan
to your
lives there.
actions, how bad is
Elon
this
Musk.
thing really? And again, I've maintained this whole time. If this was as bad as they said it was,
Mhm.
you know where our leaders and our celebrities and all these people would be? They'd be in a fucking bunker
Mhm.
underground watching this keel over Hunger Games style. That's where they'd be. They would not be out in the public. They would not be going to restaurants. If it was that bad, because again, the ego,
Mhm.
the best thing that these egotists want to do is preserve the ego, which means I got to preserve my life.
Mhm.
Like, so if it's that bad, dude, that's where they'd be. That's where they would be. And all these things like Sturgis, like Spring Break, all these other things are like, oh, it's going to be terrible.
Mhm.
And it doesn't happen. It's just, how much longer can you sit on the sidelines and be like, follow the science? I'm like, yeah, you should follow the science because
And-
it's saying that we're okay now.
And this is kind of what we were speaking to before about not seeing, you get not seeing the impact. You give the socialized medicine to everybody. So basically, okay, there's this virus. It's more deadly than the flu,
Mhm.
but it's not. It's in that realm. It's in that ballpark. It's no Ebola. So it's no Charlie bit my finger viral. Okay, Charlie bit my finger. You guys
Yes,
get it.
we get it.
So what do you do as a leader? Well, you do what, Newsom and them did, and you just shut everything down. And it's not that you're trying to destroy small businesses, but you overreact. You're used to overreacting because, you're a more despotic leader. So when you shut everything down, well, then you're in. Then you've bought in.
Yeah.
You're getting the numbers in, and you're like, oh shit, the people that didn't shut down are doing the same, if not worse, or you know what I'm saying? They're doing better or the same. So then what do? Well, you don't
double
admit you're
down.
wrong. You ride it out because you don't want to ever admit you're wrong because you're an egotistical maniac that is the only reason you've gotten to be a governor in the first place. There are guys like DeSantis who said, nope, we're not shutting it down. People's freedom and their jobs are more important than my reputation, than my, if this goes up, if this goes really wrong, goes sideways, as they say, I could have a lot to answer to, that I didn't do certain things. And, 49 other states did some measures of shutting them down or mandatory masks or whatever it is. And, one sort of two with South Dakota were I think pretty much open the entire
Yeah.
time. So, and their numbers are not worse than anybody else. And, South Dakota has a very small population, whereas Florida has a huge population. That's why it's a swing state. It's
Right.
just, it's got enough power to it and clout that it can move mountains, even Biden couldn't beat it.
Yeah.
With his charisma points. He's the only one with more charisma points than me.
One thing I can't get over.
I know. Me neither.
Yeah. Like you're telling me that this guy, this fossil of a human being, that's as exciting as he is.
Mm-hmm.
This guy that when he did go outside during the campaign, like can't pack the back of a TGI Friday on Friday. You're telling me that this guy got more votes than the most handsome, charismatic college basketball talking president we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's more.
Who eats cheeseburgers?
He's 10 million votes more popular than that guy.
Mm-hmm. Who was 10 million votes more Bordeaux? Like 15 million more votes
than
popular
Obama.
than Obama was, who was the great.
That's what I'm
hope
saying.
of-
Like, even I, like in 2008, dude, I voted for him because like this dude's different and he's awesome. At the time, I was like, that's cool. I'm totally voting for this guy. Like he's different. He seems to got a plan. Like he's a fantastic orator.
Mhm.
Like let's get this guy a chance. Let's see what he can do.
Smokes Marlboros,
I did. Yeah, I didn't vote for him second time around.
wide-shouldered wife.
No, she works out. Look at those delts, man, dude. Her arms. I'm like, that's the thing of beauty.
Wait,
right there.
are we talking about Obama or Trump?
No, I'm
Obama.
talking about Michelle.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm talking about Obama still.
And he has
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Well, I was talking about Marlboros with Obama.
Oh, okay. I moved on to sexy arms.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Marlboro is also sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. You can smoke and be smoking hot at the same time.
I mean, there's a cowboy.
Where there's a
There's
cowboy
sex symbols.
and there's two cowboys,
It's
there's a mountain
Americana,
that's broken.
except for the gauchos.
Yeah.
But let's not bring them up. Roma, never on the show. Gaucho free.
But you telling me that guy got more votes than Obama? Really? I just don't.
And we're talking about Biden and Obama now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just like, I just don't.
You're going to have to start using some names. 'Cause we're
Yeah.
falling
I
behind here.
just don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's just
Obama.
difficult to swallow. I'm like, maybe Trump was that unpopular. I don't know.
Yeah, it's well, they really chalk it up to the changes in the voting and the way that basically all the mail-in voting and the amount of money that was spent on the districts, on the local small level stuff, which is what adds up, and I think that's totally, plausible. I think it was a multifaceted, but it wasn't the let's see, it wasn't fraudulent. So just so we know,
Yeah.
there may have been some fraud committed, but that's not why he
And just
won.
voter inconsistencies.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a few.
People signing the wrong dates, names,
Dead.
addresses, that kind of stuff.
No big deal.
Nursing homes, all
all right.
packaged together.
Cats,
Yeah.
children,
Mhm.
dead people.
Mr. Wiggles. Is that French? Yeah, I'm tickled. No, it's just a weird time we're in.
Mhm.
Like it's just like that. Again, there's so much going on. Like all this stuff happened all at once, and I feel like that was just part of the strategy. We're just gonna shake the Etch-a-Sketch up to the point to where no one can really track any of this, and then hopefully they're too dumb or too lazy at that point to actually do anything about it.
Mhm.
Who knows if we're there? I feel like we're there. I think the country, we've printed out $5 trillion, and again, public education, make believe and pretend degree. Even I'm like, we're gonna pay for this, and our kids are gonna pay for it, and our grandkids, and our great grandkids. Like the bill's gonna come due for this thing, and it's gonna be fucking ugly.
I think they're just going to fuck it up so bad that they fake an alien invasion before the end of Biden's term.
I'm ready for it. Let's do this. Let's get nasty.
Yeah.
Because there's two schools of thought. There's the hold back the dam, hold back the dam approach. And they were saying that Trump had his finger in the dike.
I mean,
It's a dam.
It's Trump,
It's a type of dam.
and it's a dam.
It's a levee of sorts. So that's
It
what they
also
were
could be
saying.
a lady.
That's what they were saying. And then now there's the other school of thought, which would be the accelerationists, which would be the ones that are like, let's
Let's just
blow
get
Blow
this
this shit
over.
up. Let's
Yeah.
control
Yes.
demo.
let's
and
bomb
rebuild.
the dam. We'll try to
It's what your
survive as
sports
best we
team
can
does.
and regroup.
Yeah, it's what your sports team does. Let's jettison all of our veteran players.
Mhm.
We'll get a bunch of picks, and we'll just start over.
Yeah, a bunch of biological women players.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Not childbearing. Get it? They have
Yeah.
penises.
It's good.
Yeah.
Because they got the dingly dangly.
Mhm.
Dingly dangly below.
Like Gary.
There's a lot of jiggle if you think out there. If they got the upstairs and below.
Yeah, you got to get two types of sports bras,
Yeah.
One of my
upper and lower.
friends is trans, and they had the surgery up top, but did not get the surgery down below.
Okay.
So they've got all the parts.
So a trans man.
Trans
well,
woman.
she
She-
still has the
Transition from a man
Got
Yes.
it.
to
Okay.
a trans
Yes.
woman.
Okay.
and I have conversations with her about this all the time. I'm like,
Mhm.
can you explain it to me? Like, I need to.
Mhm.
And again, her explanations, like as I've talked to her over the years, because she's been.
How old is she about?
She's my age. Like
Okay.
she's in her late 30s, early
Mhm.
40s, and she has basically said like, there's just so percentage wise, there's just so few of us that are actually trans.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of this is if people don't really know what they're just kind of like along for the ride.
It's,
They're
just,
not.
it's trendy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
There's social clout that's given to it.
and my friend, she's told me flat out, she's like, it's so hard.
Mhm.
Like, I've been suicidal. And then she told me Ellen saved my life. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, and she's like, yeah, I watch Ellen every day.
saved my life tonight.
Yeah. She loves Ellen. Just loves her. I mean, what's not to love? She just dances around on,
Put cigarettes out on
a
people.
set that looks like it's straight out of the Illuminati temple. It's fine. It's fine. I just I don't know what's going on anymore. And even she has said like, this is just. Even she agrees that like what's happening is hard to swallow and doesn't know where it's going.
Mm-hmm. And is she attracted to men or to women?
She's attracted to women.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a trans woman lesbian or trans lesbian.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And and that's the interesting thing. So like if you listen to people like Jordan Peterson,
mm-hmm.
he started out with I can't remember the name of the law. It was Bill C-16. So Bill C-16 was your speech. You had to use someone's pronouns, and if you didn't, that was a crime of sorts. So I don't know if they could sue you or if they
hate
could,
speech or something.
but it's hate speech. And so his argument about that is compelled speech. So you're making me speak a certain way, which is kind of like I brought up before, that when you speak a certain way, you have to think that way.
Right.
And when you start to think that way and they start to limit the words that you can use, we've talked about this 100 times, 93 times, 94. So when you have someone that is close to you, I'm totally fine with that. If somebody was my friend and was just like, hey, I prefer this. Okay, I respect you as a person. You are not doing it You're not doing it to in a shitty way to me.
To be controlling.
Exactly, to control me. And when you're put in the position where someone is trying to control you in that way, the general tendency is to lash back or whatever it is. Maybe not lash back, but at least push back, because you're an autonomous human being. You get to do, that's part of the individualism that is part of liberty.
There, it's like a lot of people, especially nowadays, walk around saying, I demand respect. And it's like, I don't fucking know you. I don't respect you. I mean, I'll be respectful, if you deserve it and earn it from me, but I don't automatically just respect people. I can be respectful, but you've done nothing to earn my respect.
Yeah, I'll mirror your respect.
Exactly.
Yeah, which you're not coming on strongly if this is what you're saying to me,
Right.
If you're making demands.
But doesn't it feel good, right, in our lives, like when we've earned somebody's respect, especially if we've earned the respect of somebody that we admire or that we respect, and to have that respect reciprocated. It feels good, right? And it goes along to the lines of, like, again, opportunity of outcome, right? Or what was it? What is it? I'm sorry. Public school.
Yeah. Outcome versus
equity of outcome versus equity of opportunity. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, equality.
Equality of outcome.
Yeah.
Equality of opportunity.
Equality of outcome.
Public school. Make believe and pretend. So in regards to this, so if you earn something, right? This goes to along to meritocracy, right? The idea of I have the same opportunity as everybody else, but I'm going to earn this, right? And so a lot of people will say, well, certain people, certain groups of people, minorities, right? Settle down.
You talking about Puerto Ricans?
Yeah. I'm talking about the Ewoks, because everything is Star Wars with me. Because certain Ewoks don't have the same opportunities as Imperial Stormtroopers. They all had the opportunity to win the Battle of Endor. The Ewoks earned it with their Lincoln logs, spilling model ATSTs. Except for that one part where the one gets shot. It's the saddest part of.
This is worse than the acronyms.
Yeah. The Star Wars references is even harder.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it feels good to earn something as opposed to being handed something, and I fear that our culture, the world culture, is going to start handing things, and it's not going to feel good, and it will never solve the problem.
Whereas you'll never have that satisfaction.
You'll never have. Yeah. It's like being awarded something.
Didn't you just earn something?
Right. Right. I did earn something. So I've been doing Krav Maga for the last 7 months. And so I took my...
That's a type of crab dip.
Yeah, it's a type of crab dip. It's the most patriotic Krav Maga. It's the most patriotic crab dip you could ever have. Is that, it's the Israeli self-defense system.
Israeli, commando, they're badassest, special forces karate.
I'm not studying the civilian Krav Maga. I'm studying the Israeli military. So the patch system. So I tested up the patch. There's they have patches, different levels that you earn. So
Patch Adams.
Yes, yes, much more violent than Robin Williams as a doctor. Much more. Violent.
He did.
Yeah. Well, but that was in self-defense.
Yeah, and desperation.
him and Kobe Bryant, man, those are the only two
Mm-hmm.
that I've shed a tear over. The only two
Really?
celebrities that I've ever, Robin Williams and Kobe Bryant.
I've told everyone about when I watched History with Michael Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
It was during the solo of Beat It.
No. Yeah.
Guy had like a fiber optic hair. Anyways, go ahead.
Nice. So I patched up in Krav Maga, and what that included was it's 4 hours. And what is Krav Maga like? Well, it's like the worst, most horrendous wrestling practice you've ever been a part of with hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's basically what, and it's like the Cobra Kai dojo,
Yeah.
and your worst wrestling coach and nightmares had a baby, and then you do that.
And martial arts is kind of split into like two kind of, there's the more traditional and then there's the more functional.
Yeah.
So like Brazilian jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga are very functional.
Extremely.
Yeah, so I would say
designed
probably
that way on purpose. Krav draws from like the most, from everything, a little bit of everything. Like Emi Lichtenfeld was the guy that came up with the father
it's a
of
nice,
Krav
strong
Maga.
American name.
And it's I believe a Czechoslovakian Jewish guy.
Oh, really?
I believe, and like taught the neighborhood how to fight the anti-Semites. He was like a boxing champion and a wrestling champion, and that's where the system started. But Krav is like this ever-evolving system that continues to evolve this day.
Now, what is the preferred food of the Krav Maga practitioner?
Although carbs.
Okay.
For me,
I was going to say pretzels.
It's carbs,
I was
dude.
going to say soft pretzels.
It's exhausting, but no, I
Bagels.
took this test. I took this test last Saturday.
They're Jewish.
Yeah, that's good. I I took this test this last weekend. It was 4 hours long. So 4 hours of this Krav Maga wrestling practice, striking, getting hit, sparring, all sorts of stuff. And it had been a while since I've, again, done something where you become the student, that we start to learn something new again, which I think is extremely valuable.
Sure.
And you should be doing it at all points in your life. Always being the student helps you be a better teacher, helps you be a more well-rounded person.
Yeah. Joe Rogan says you should always do something difficult.
Yeah, and this was the most, I can tell you definitively, this is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
As far as like the physically.
And you've done our show.
Yeah.
That's
emotionally,
crazy.
mentally. When I get done, I go to my car and I throw up after I'm done here. I'm just like, oh, it's a penis.
Exactly.
Oh, aliens. Oh, flattered. Like, that's what I do. Can't wait till next month.
Yeah.
Oh, got to train, list some logs, climb some mountains of snow. But this is the hard.
I'm scared. Okay.
If I could change,
we were doing Rocky impressions before the show started.
I could change. No,
I'm scared. Okay. Sorry.
But it pushed me past a point. I've run marathons, half marathons, wrestled, did taekwondo for 10 years, played basketball, like all this stuff, sports as a kid.
Now, how many people are in this test? This
test was just me and one other person and our instructor, and so that way,
like Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the hit from somebody.
Want to eat some bagels with somebody.
And some gloves with somebody.
Yeah.
To find somebody to fuck up.
I hope the next time he tests, he's thinking about that.
It's good.
Shaking his butt.
But no, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, but the feeling I've gotten from it, like even, it's been again decades since I've done something that, again, never that hard or physically, it was insane, and pushing myself past what was comfortable, way past what was comfortable. Like I've never had this hard of a time recovering from it, like my back, my neck, my asshole, and my crack. No, it's it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like it's been so worth it, and like a lot of it was super empowering. It's like, well, if I can do that at my age, what else can I do? Like I bet I could do this. I bet I could do this. Like I want to try to get there again. Can I push myself even further?
Yeah.
Than I've been, and the earning of that and everything. When I think back on other things in my life, like building an independent massage practice, building these things that I've accomplished that have all felt good.
Wife, kids, or whatever.
Building a family, like all these things that I've done, like have felt the best. Like, and things that I was ever handed or told that I deserved, whether it was like, a part in a play or like something like it hasn't even come close.
Because you were black.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't even come close to those things of earning. And what I fear is like we're going to
true earning, where your blood, sweat, and tears goes into it.
Literally put everything, your energy and your effort at the risk
Well,
of failure.
and you make those decisions to either do that or not do it. So okay, with your podcast, you went, this isn't worth it. Krav Maga is worth it.
Yeah.
I went, I'll take bagels and podcasting.
Yeah.
So but even when you back off and you go, it's not for me or whatever it is, you still learn something about yourself. And it's not that you reached your limit necessarily, but like, I'm sure if I tried to run a marathon, I'd be like, half a marathon's good enough. What am I trying to prove after 13 miles, that I didn't prove already. But that's really what it is. And I think, sometimes it's hard for us, and especially in such a day and age where everything is so everything is stimulus all day long. I mean, like, I'm guilty of it. I think we're all guilty of it, but to be able to focus that amount of time and energy into one thing and keep showing up, because how long did you do it for, and how many days a week?
I was doing it 2 days a week.
Okay.
2 and 3 days a week.
For
about 7 months.
Okay. And this is your first test?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Because usually, like, Taekwondo, Tung Sudo is like 3 months. But usually it's like 3-week classes a week.
But a lot of it is you have to be in shape to be able to pull off the test.
Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of it, like, again, the learning curve was really steep. This particular place that I study at, like, you just jump in, you're doing what everybody else is doing.
And you've definitely lost weight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down about 12 pounds. Like, I just actually had today the studio's doing like a fitness challenge, and so I went to NutriShop.
So they're fat phobic, or
yeah, because it's like we don't no fatties here.
I don't approve of that.
They did body mass, everything like that, and like
BMI.
Yeah, well, actually, apparently the BMI, according to the person who did the test, like, is not essentially accurate, but like
no,
those machines that you can measure, where like measure body fat,
calipers.
The person that did the test was like, "Wow, for your age, like, you are in fantastic shit. Look at this. Like, it was all even. Like, but again, I've put in a lot of work.
Wow,
like a lot of work to get.
Because you were in bad shape before. People can watch back on the show.
Yeah, I was in terrible shape. I was huffing and puffing in between takes. Like, it was terrible.
Just wheezing the whole time.
Aliens,
cut his mic. Mute.
The government. It's not like a haunted house up in this bitch.
Yeah, or an Adam Sandler album. And so you did. So what were the? So like I remember when I was doing tests and things, you would like for Chodambo, which was candidate for black belt, you had to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squat jumps. This was back in the old days when we didn't have television. So what did you have to do? Did you have to like do ninja on your phone a bunch or whatever?
There was a bunch of get-ups. So how to, like, if you're in the shrimp position, your back with just like on your back, head up with your knee up to defend, like you would see them doing kind of in UFC. How to get up and back to your stance, and the difference going to the sides. Going
and
to
how
the
many
front,
of those each time?
Lots and
no,
lots.
you can't just say lots. There has to be a
I
definitive
lost count
number.
because I was suffering.
Oh my God, they didn't tell you?
No, it was just
They
like
just said, "Hey,
until the
do this for
instructor
4
is
hours."
satisfied. Like,
Wow.
and then we did break falls, right, which is also how to get pushed forward, how to get pushed backwards, how to get
do you roll out of it?
not even to roll out of it, but how to just like land and break your fall.
Oh, okay.
Getting pushed against the wall, like getting pushed backwards. Like the worst part of it was probably you get double legged from behind and have to figure out how to break your fall.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't even see it coming, and so you have to just like, it's the worst.
Yeah.
So we did that. Like,
did they put broken glass down or anything?
No,
Screws and nails?
Not this time. Probably the next patch, I imagine. But then also doing like strikes, elbows, like, and then transitioning from like the elbows and hammer fists into regular strikes, like whether it's palms or punching or whatever. Sparring. Like there was like oftentimes there's a lot of hit elements in Krav, as far as like you're doing a lot of, it's called an EMI drill, and essentially what it is like you do 10 strikes and then you do 1 sprawl, and then 9 strikes and 2 sprawls, and go all the way back down and all the way back, and that's an EMI drill. And just half of an EMI it's intense, and so we're doing that.
And what's a sprawl? Is that a grapple?
Almost like if you were sprawling, it's almost like doing a burpee, but your head is more up.
Yeah.
Like, and then
Oh, so are you
up.
working a bag, or are you doing a?
Yes, you're doing a bag. So bam,
or are
bam,
you
bam,
doing
bam, bam,
another
bam,
guy?
sprawl.
Okay.
Jump up and then like keep going. Like a lot of it is, and a lot of the testing was like, can you maintain aggression across 4 hours? Are you transitioning?
I mean, that's not really necessary usually. In most things.
But again, for the testing, they wanted to see that type of stuff. Like, how's your footwork, and the sparring is like, are you able to?
That's like, can you maintain your aggression for 18 holes?
Right.
It's
just like, and those
4
porn
hours.
stars say yes.
It's like, give me a hot dog. All right, I'm on the dot. Going around a bit.
Go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the test was, and a lot of we did planks and we did all sorts of. I mean, holding a plank for 2 minutes towards the end of the test, like after you've been working for 3 hours, is very difficult. And like a lot of the workouts in class, like it ends with you just like you essentially max out doing stuff. And so like in the last 10 minutes of the test, honestly, I was screaming through most of it because my muscles were done.
Yeah.
I had the cardio. I've always been good at that, but my muscles were just done. And at every single like squat or push up or plank or strike hurt. It physically hurt. And I was like literally screaming through most of it. Like,
that's pleasant.
But again, people are like, why would that sounds insane? Why would you do that? But you're chasing that thing, right? You go past the point of pain into this other zone to where you're just like, I didn't know I could even. I was telling my wife last night, I was like, I didn't know I could get there.
Yeah.
And so having gotten there, I was like, I don't want to test it. I told the instructor, I was like, do not let me test again until you are 125,000% sure I'm right. This was excruciating. Like, make sure I don't test before I'm ready.
But but that's, I guess you weren't you?
Yep, I was ready.
So in a way, I don't know.
Well, and I hurt my
it's
back.
all about your it's like with the Navy SEALs. They say you're not made a Navy SEAL. You're born one. So you either have the constitution to follow through with whatever it takes, and obviously working out and being good at lots of things is part of that. But if you're the type of person that ever considers giving up, you're not it.
Yeah.
So that's what they're looking for, because they can shape you. They can make you lose weight. They can make you do push-ups. They can do all that shit.
Yeah. Well,
I was not born a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, I mean, probably was. But
there's one. You probably were.
Diabetic. So I went to podcasting.
One of the students at Krav, I was talking to them, and they're like, what do you think that this is the one thing that everybody has in common in here? And I was like, well, if you look at
circumcised,
everyone turtlenecks, yep. All of them, even the ladies, all of them they all look different. Everyone in this class looks different, and different levels of fitness and stuff like that when they come in. But I think that I told this person when it comes in there has one. It's like a look in their eye, and you see it from like the smallest wafer of a lady to like the big guy, and there's just like this drive. I want something.
Let's not assume
more.
genders.
Right.
That's the first mistake you'll make in Krav Maga.
Hey, you guys, we're coming up on the end of the show.
All right.
It's true.
But there's that thing that they want to get. Like there's just like a, not even like a hunger, but just like it's just, I don't know, like an edge. That people have like an edge in there. If you look into these people's eyes as you work with them in class, like they got that edge. There's just something about them. That's just like, this is worth it. Like,
do you think somebody can develop that or attain that if they're not one of those people?
Oh, I think that I have that under there, but again, like usually humor is like a deflection for fear for me, and so a lot of that. When I was terrified the first couple months in that class, like, no, am I gonna get hurt? Like, am I gonna get hit? Like, oh geez, like, and now it's just like I get hit, and I'm like, whatever.
But I just mean the drive.
Yeah,
the drive for it.
I've always had that. Like,
okay. Well, see, I'm asking if people could get that if they don't necessarily have that.
I think it'd be developed. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll keep up on it. Do you have anything you want to plug while you're here?
You can go to
your gram.
I'm still doing the audio improv turned into the doodles on YouTube. You can go to Insert Foot Theater, and it's myself and my buddy Craig. Craig does all the animation for it.
What's it called again?
Insert Foot Theater.
Insert Foot.
And so it's just us riffing, like just improvising about whatever, and he animates it.
Theater, ER or RE?
ER. ER. Okay. Not the pretentious spelling.
Not theatre.
No.
Like our British listeners.
Theatre.
Yeah. So you can check us out on all 10 podcasting platforms, audio podcasting platforms. I forgot to tell. Damn it. I forgot my favorite part. Okay, so do us a favor, smash the like button, shoot the share-o. I came up with that last week or a week before.
What kind of French is that?
Yeah. The share-o, you share with your friends.
All right.
Shoot the share-o and sub as hard as you can to us here on YouTube, on BitChute, and on Rumble. We also have Instagram, which is the Sensible Sociopath Podcast.
Yep, that's correct.
And then we're also on Parler, Minds, but please check out thesensiblesociopathpodcast.com and buy some merch from us because me and Roma want to clothe you. We want to swaddle you.
Think of how many boobs you're going to touch.
I know, right? I can't wait.
And
I was hoping some of our pants would give people unsolicited boners.
Yeah.
Best podcast in the world.
Have a good night, guys.
The world would not be the same.
I like it.
No wonder my anxiety's so high.
Few people laughed. Few people cried.
Oh, what's in the box?
Most people were silent.
And that was it.
Now I am become death,
Sounds like a bad time.
the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem like a great idea to me.
I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
You didn't tell me any of that. That's crazy.
Well, Roma, when you're a hero, you don't tell everyone until you're on your podcast.
I'm about to hear some shit.
We all need to laugh.
I think just sitting down and, listening to...
The Sensible Sociopath. This is the shit you're supposed to be watching.
Gen X is going to love it. Millennials are going to be like, I'm offended.
You have offended me.
Also, my dog has a giant dick.
Oh my god, that's enormous.
I love it.
It's still a racist dog whistle.
Where you kind of have like a rotating cast of characters.
We're talking baby seals, eagles, wolves.
I'm just glad we're not going to have to eat with racism anymore.
It's worse than the butthole.
We're technically considered propaganda.
It is very contagious.
I think we really need to talk about environmentalism.
Like, are they studying pine cones?
Make yourself a nice stingray omelet. That's how Steve Irwin died. Cholesterol.
It's fucking delicious.
His father had ended up killing his mother and committing suicide.
In that order?
That's diabolical. I like it.
They had an apple gun where you could shoot Bigfoot.
Has she always been retarded?
I mean, she could have had a head injury.
You don't know anything about tartar sauce.
He had picked up a 400-pound statue and was like walking around with it.
Was the statue racist?
I'd like to think so.
It's like how they invented bacon and avocado to make a turkey sandwich tolerable.
I have a fear of fire.
Like a werewolf? Daniel, you've been our greatest viewer. Well, Daniel and Sarah and Katrina.
Daniel!